Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Let's go!
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, behavior, that's a lifelong dream goal.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
Welcome to Health Matters Live Podcast, where your health matters.
Yes. This is a day the Lord has made.
And we're going to choose to rejoice and be glad in it.
Every day, all day. Listen, we want you to join us right here every Saturday at 9 a.m. as we bring you relevant information pertaining to your health and well-being. We'll have healthcare professionals and other professionals on the show to assist us in helping you to be the best you that you can be as it pertains to your health and well-being.
So, guys, you already know what to do. Head over to Facebook page, Get Fit with Jackie Fitness, and like us on Facebook. Also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Health Matters Jackie and Coach.
Yeah. Do it now. Don't wait. Listen, we're in the month of August. Happy birthday to everybody that has celebrated and shall celebrate a birthday in the month of August, right? Because people celebrate all month long now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm still celebrating our anniversary.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you still celebrating.
No, our
birthday.
40th anniversary. So this is the year of our two milestone, our 40th anniversary and your 60th birthday.
Yeah, but mine's next month.
Yes.
So we're going to celebrate the August.
We're going to
right
take,
now.
we're going to do, so we never took our anniversary trip. So all they got to be combined together.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I hear you talking. But my wallet says different.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Happy birthday, y'all. We hope you are celebrating, having a good time for your birthday. If you haven't, then we hope you're planning to have a great birthday. Happy anniversary to everybody that's tied the knot, jumped the broom. However you did it for the month of August, you did it. Happy birthday to Ariel and Liz Daniels and Joanne and Dunn Moody. Happy anniversary.
Yes. And I want to say, give a shout out to my brother in Mobile, Alabama, Henry. His birthday is this month as well. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
A lot of birthdays was August.
Most
A lot of
definitely.
birthdays was August.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So those had to be Christmas babies, right? December.
I don't know.
It was made in Christmas. 9 months later. Listen,
right.
We want to acknowledge our sponsors, our partners, and our friends. Aiken Chiropractic, Dr. Dan. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Northwest in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9191, and their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. Check that website out. Make you an appointment. I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
All right.
So if you would like to be a sponsor, partner, or friend, you can call us at 706-592-8862. We would love for you to help us do what we do every Saturday at 9 a.m.
So, guys, we started the month off. We know kids are back in school.
Yeah.
And so we started the month of August off healthy, transitioning back to school. We talked about how to get our kids back into routine and transition them back into their school year. Some kids are going back to school for a whole year. So it's different, especially in Aiken, South Carolina. They're year round. So they started way before everybody else. So school is on the way. It has started. And also we talked about bullying.
Yeah,
so that was a hot topic. People really respond to that, so because kids are different, they learn different, kids look different, and kids can be kind of cruel,
That's right.
and so they just go about what they have been taught, peer pressure, social media. We talked about all that, and it got some great reviews. So we just want to continue to, talk to our children and make sure we're communicating to our kids and allow our kids to communicate to us. But we have no other than our very own, the sponsor of Help Matters, Dr. Dan Jolich in Aiken Chiropractic, and he's gonna sum this up with healthy backpack. So no other. By further ado, we introduce you to Dr. Dan Jolich of Aiken Chiropractic.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
Hey.
So I hope you guys doing good.
Good.
I was listening to you congratulating people for birthdays, and yours coming up later on. But the thing is, it was my wife's birthday in August as well,
Awesome.
and yeah, it was like a week ago on Saturday. And the funny thing is, she got me working that day, so I had to work. Yeah, I had to work in my office in Augusta, and so I said, let me get it straight. She's the manager. She makes up the doctor schedule. I'm like, so you want me working on your birthday? You don't want to hang out with me on your birthday? She was like, well, that's a gift to myself. I got to have you work on my birthday. So I had to work on her birthday.
Right. And
But it was a good day. Yeah. It was a good day. I actually saw just about 50 patients on that day, and 7 new ones, and they all signed up for the same deal, like a Power Wellness that I have in Aiken. And so it was a busy day. It was a busy day,
That's a good thing. That's a good
Yeah.
thing. So
When we
awesome,
have when we have a doctors, and they see like 50 patients a day, we give them a little bonus on their pay because that's a lot of work. And I get no bonus though because I just work there, so she doesn't give me any. But yeah, that's the thing about that. And then I was also going to say the bullying is definitely a major topic. So I'm glad you guys talked about it and covered it. We all probably experienced that at some point, and I did too when I was younger. So
right?
it's tough, but in some ways you got to stand up for yourself if you can, and so you got to be careful, and you got to do what you got to do. I mean, life is not easy. I tell my kids all the time. I said, if I taught you one thing, it's that the life is not fair. Life is not fair. I mean, so you got to understand that, and you got to fight for yourself, and make sure that you do the best you can and stand up for yourself. And sometimes you can do that, but sometimes you can't. So there's different things you can do, but you got to stand up for yourself. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about, posture and this backpack safety and how to choose the right backpack and what kind of backpacks are there. Why is that so important? And, how does that affect our kids? Well, we talk about at least once a year. I like to do it as kids are getting back to school, but it's a big deal. I remember being young and the backpack was so heavy with all those books, I can barely carry it, So we see a lot of kids in my clinics, and a lot of the kids have curvy spine. They call this scoliosis. So a lot of them have it, Personally, in my clinic, I try not to. I don't try. I don't x-ray any kid under the age of 10. So if they're 10 years old or older, I might take one picture to look at their spine. And you don't need a lot of x-rays. You just need maybe one picture. You can, because kids are not that big, you can, take one picture and see if there's a scoliosis there. So, I try to limit the x-ray exposure, which I think is very important. And I want to just say why that is, because, we have those growth cells, and when we are growing and kids are growing, those growth cells are in the middle of the bones in your spine. So, your segments in your spine, they kind of grow like this. They grow from the middle up, so they kind of go like this. So the growth cells are in the middle of it, and so those growth cells are really very not resistant to radiation, so one picture is not going to make that big of a difference. The amount of radiation is like super small, but I just don't want to take any chance. So, when kids are under 10, I don't take any x-rays. But normally I don't need to. I can just, run my fingers on the spine. I can feel if it's curvy or whatever, and that tells me all I need to know, and I can just go ahead and adjust them. Kids are very easy to adjust. They did not have a problem for a long time like the adults. So the spine is very easy to, put back in place. So I don't need the x-rays. If parents are concerned about it and they want to see just how curvy the spine is, then I would suggest, take one picture when they're 10 or older, and that would be a good starting point. And I have a lot of x-rays where in the past we've taken one like that, and then a year later or 2 years later, the parents want to see if there's any improvement, so I usually wait at least a year. You take another X-ray, you can see a difference. It's straighter. And of course, the kids' quality of life is a lot better, and they're not complaining about pain and that kind of stuff. But one of the contributing factors to the curvy spine is the weight and the way they carry their backpack. So I wanted to mention there are basically several types of backpacks that I see kids use. There are different drawbacks and good things and bad things about each type. So typical one is the shoulder strap one, that you have 2 shoulder straps and you're supposed to wear it equally on your both shoulders. I'm a proponent of that. I think that is the best one for the kid, because you should have the weight balanced equally over both sides of your shoulders, because that will keep the spine as straight as possible. And of course, those backpacks should be padded, and they also should distribute the weight across both shoulders, and they should be padded in the back as well. And some of them even I've seen, they have like a little lumbar support, like a little inflatable thing on the bottom, which is even better. When they wear those kind of backpacks, they should just wear them on both shoulders. Sometimes kids think it's cool to put it on one shoulder, but then you end up having shoulders uneven like this over time, and that will cause scoliosis. So put them on both shoulders and encourage your kids to wear it properly like it's designed. Also, they shouldn't let it too far low. I sometimes see kids wearing it like way low, like they're all the way down on their butt or something. They think that's cool as well. That's not good for the spine at all. Actually, the higher the better, because that's where a spine should hold the weight. So wear it like it's designed. Wear it on both shoulders and have it nicely padded. And we'll talk about the weight and how much the backpack should weigh. But the next thing I wanted to say, the next type of a pack they can use in school will be the one with the wheels. And so if kid has a lot of heavy load, like they have a lot of heavy books, they should use a wheel backpack if possible. So sometimes I give kids or parents, rather I give them a note, doctor's note, that should be using that kind of a backpack. Sometimes kids come here and parents complain like, oh, my kid is hurting, and look at how heavy this book bag is, and I don't know, there's so much. Well, I sometimes tell them, okay, well, bring your book bag with you when you come on your next appointment, and I'll put you on the scale. So I weigh the kid without a backpack and then with the backpack, and see how much that thing weighs. And I'll tell you now, but it should be around 10% of the kid's weight. So if a kid is 50 pounds, like a small kid, shouldn't be more than 5 pounds, and so on and so on. So a lot of times they're a lot more than 10% of their backpack weight. That's why they have health problems. So if it's too heavy, there's only a couple of things you can do. One of them is to ask if they can use a wheel backpack, because you can actually carry more stuff in them. You're just wheeling them around. There's some bad things about it too, but that's better than regular backpack with all their weight on it.
Right.
And the other thing you can do is if they don't allow those kind of, you'll be surprised. Some schools tell parents, we can't have your kid doing a wheel backpack. Why? It ruins the floor. Are you serious? The floor, yeah, it's more important that, kids' health than it is, to, mop the floor once in a while. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But that's what they say. And sometimes they need a doctor's note. Sometimes if they don't want you, to do that at all, fine, maybe they can give them a locker that's close to their rooms or their, classrooms. So they have to lug it so far between. Maybe they can be issued a second set of books and leave some in school and some at home, so they have to carry that back and forth that much. So there are different things you can do. But if the backpack is just, too heavy for a kid, that's not healthy. I mean, over time, they're going to develop, health problems.
Right.
So the problem with a wheel backpack is sometimes, you still have to carry it. Like when you come to the stairs or something, you still have to carry it. So, are they carrying it properly? Is it too heavy? Maybe they can use a ramp instead of the stairs. I don't know. But you got to be careful, because, it might be heavier. And also, if it's easier to roll in, the kids can maybe have the tendency to overload that one, to put more stuff in it because it's easier to carry. So you don't want to overload that one also. But it will be easier to carry, absolutely. Then I also see kids have what I call a mini backpack. It's basically a smaller version of the regular backpack, And I don't know what you can fit in there. But for the younger kids, this little smaller backpacks are cool if you don't have to carry too many things. So I don't know. That could be cool. They seem lightweight and easy to manage. I just don't know if it would actually do its purpose. I do see them sometimes. And then the next one will be the laptop backpack. So, sometimes you got to have a laptop and they have to carry little computers, and laptop's pretty heavy. I mean, so, and what if you have to put a charger in there as well? Who knows? So they can be pretty hefty as well. So, I mean, all of these are good and bad. And if you have to have a laptop backpack, again, it's better the one on both shoulders with compartments and all the padding, instead of like almost like a briefcase one that goes over one shoulder and then it's going to curve your spine over time. If you have to have the one that's just over one shoulder, well, it's better to put it like this way and go across than on the same side and just go straight down.
Yeah,
it's just better. Yeah, and also
balance it out a little bit.
Yeah, and you got to change your shoulders. Like one day you wear it here, next day you wear it here. So kind of you have to switch around. So both shoulders will be better, but you got to do what you got to do.
So, like you say, Dr. Dan, there are some pros and cons. Whether you have a book bag with wheels on it, or if you have one that you have to put on the shoulder. But the good thing to do is just to practice wearing them properly.
Yep, that's it. You gotta, they tell you on the backpack what's the weight limit, and it's not huge really, and you really shouldn't exceed that. But those are the kind of things. And sometimes they have a drawstring backpack as well, and that's also just for kind of lighter things like gym clothes or something like that. So they don't really have any kind of support. They kind of tend to dig into you and your shoulders. I don't think these are really that great, but sparingly maybe, But the ones for the book bags and for the actual classroom is the one with two shoulder straps. We used to sell some of this backpack in the day, and I don't do them anymore. I just don't sell them. I just don't want to be a retail store, I just do service. But there were some backpacks in the past that had inflatable, padded things here where the straps are, and the inflatable one in the back. And it's like a little, air inflatable, like a little, like a pocket or something. You just, blow it in and inflate it. I think that's kind of cool. I think those will call air packs. If they still sell them, it's not going to be probably in the store, but it might be like on Amazon or something. They were really not a bad deal at all. And people liked them. They're different colors. But we used them, and I actually brought some for my wife and my kids home. And yeah, they're comfortable because you inflate those things and feels pretty good. So air packs was goal, if they still have those. So, to talk about this, what to do. So, first of all, size does matter. The backpack should be actually proportionate to the child's body size. It shouldn't be wider or very long than their torso. And it should rest at least 2 inches above their hips. So if the backpack's huge and you see like a little kid carrying a backpack that's obviously too big for him, that's just not healthy for the kid either. And you can also put more stuff in it. So it has to be proportional to their body size. Next tip I would say is straps. Those straps are really the key. And the straps should be as wide as possible, padded. So like I said, there are different kind of paddings, like those inflatable ones I mentioned for the air packs, but they should be pretty wide, I also like the ones that have a little connection right here between, I have one of those backpacks when I go hiking. I put like a water bladder in the back of it. It's really small, but it has a little strap that connects. So it keeps the straps from falling off to the side. It kind of keeps them this way. I think that's a pretty cool thing. It feels definitely easier and lighter, and it's, more weight distributed like that. So the straps are pretty good. And, they should be, of course, adjusted for the kid's height and size and all that. So you really need to encourage your kids to use both straps and to help distribute their weight against the shoulders, evenly. That's really important. Now, the weight limit we talked about a second ago, it shouldn't weigh more than the guidelines are really 10 to 15%, but around 10% of your child's total body weight. So that's really important. So if the backpack is just too heavy, you got to lighten up somehow. And maybe if you can lighten, I got to have this, I got to carry this too. Okay, well, maybe put stuff in the backpack and then carry something here, like in your hands against the body in the front. Shouldn't everything go in that backpack? They're not going camping. They're going to school. So if they have like a little drawstring bag with like gym stuff, like gym clothes or shoes, maybe that should be in a separate bag and have them hold it right here while they have this backpack over there. I'm not sure. It just needs to be distributed, and it shouldn't be much more than 10% of body's total weight for the kids. Otherwise, it's going to cause problems over time. I mean, it will. And then, of course, the proper use as far as we got to encourage the kids to take breaks, adjust the straps. They're going to loosen up over time. They got to maintain the balance. And they really shouldn't be wearing the backpack for a very long period of time. I mean, they need to take it off, and then if there's any of that, a chest strap or whatever, they should be using that as well. So all of that gets looser over time. You got to readjust the straps and all that, but you got to use it. You got to use it. You got to use it, properly.
Yeah, let me squeeze in real quick, because a lot of people don't realize how important it is to properly wear these backpacks, because of the long-term effects that it can have on their kids spine. Another thing, I heard you talking about distribution of the weight. If kids have big and larger books, then the larger books, I think, should go closer to the back instead on the packed on the outside of the bag.
And that was my next next kind of segue, how to actually pack the backpack. And yes, the heavier items should be closer to your back, not to the front. They should be to the back. And the heaviest books or laptops or what have you should be all the way in the back of that backpack, as close to your body as possible. I would say, if you're not sure, you can do a little test. And I used to do it in my office with a Yellow Pages book, which normally we don't have anymore. So you got to come up with some other object. And what you do is you hold something like right here against your body, and then you extend your arms and hold the same object. And it's going to feel a lot heavier when it's up here than when it's up here. And so, it's pretty amazing. So, when it's something closer to a body, it feels a lot lighter. It's just a fulcrum, it's the lever thing. So if it's like further away, I don't know, there's some kind of a mathematical formula, like how much, logarithmically that increases their weight on the body or something. So you got to keep it close. You got to keep it close to your body. That's another reason they shouldn't have those backpacks all the way down on their butt. They should be up close to the spine like it's supposed to. If they have it sag too much, low, then it's going to increase the amount of weight. They're going to feel a lot more. It's just not comfortable. That's going to cause problems. But yeah, the heavy items should be in the back. If there's any like compartments in these backpacks, which a lot of them have, well, you got to use those compartments and the pockets to distribute the weight evenly. Some of the smaller items can go in the front or the side pockets and stuff like that. So you got to kind of give it a little thought. If your kid doesn't think about it, you need to kind of step in as a parent and look how they're packing their backpack and make sure they alert. And kids are so smart that if you show them something, a couple of times, they'll be so happy to show you next time that they did it the right way, And then, of course, you got to limit the extra weight. You only have to pack what's really necessary. Don't let them bring stuff they don't really need, like some toys or whatever. I don't know. All of these non-essential items you should keep out of the backpack to keep the backpack as light as possible. That's really the goal. Keep it as light as possible. Only put what you need for class, like books that you have to bring. But if there's something they don't need to be bringing, they need to leave that alone, and that's good. So there'll be good good thing to think about. Now, let's talk about a little bit. I kind of mentioned that for a second, chiropractic and kids like that. When I have parents bring the kids, it's always the same thing. My kid has back pain. Once in a while they have headaches, which is crazy, but a lot of times they develop back pain. A lot of that is from it's accumulation of things they do. Kids fall, they run, they do things, they fall down, they do sports, they do all kinds of stuff. They're supposed to do that. I mean, that's normal. And then this weight distribution, also the way they sit. Watch your kids how they sit at home. Are they slumping? Are they sitting straight up? I mean, a lot of kids tend to slump forward like this because they are playing on the iPads or phones or doing those video games or whatever. They're doing something. So don't let them slump forward. They should sit upright as straight as possible, and then adjust the computer or the device they're using to your body or their body and not their body to the computer. So instead of doing this, maybe they can do this, you know? So it's just better not to lean over forward. So all of that ends up, you know, curving the spine, and it's going to pull the bones out of place in the spine. They're going to press on the nerves. The muscles are going to be irritated and stuff like that, and it, you know, makes issues. So scoliosis is obviously, you know, that's a pretty obvious thing that happens over time. But, you know, for scoliosis to really happen, I mean, that takes a few years to really get really kind of curvy, unless the kid was born with that. And minority of scoliosis are, you know, from the birth. They say, when you read the literature, about 30% of the scoliosis is, you know, maybe genetic, but 70% happens, you know, later on, and it's due to a lot of different factors. So 70% of scoliosis roughly can be prevented. It can be preventable, you know. So when you think about it, but parents should listen to their kids. You know, if a kid complains and says, you know, Daddy, I don't know, or Mommy, my back hurts or whatever, sometimes parents dismiss it. You know, you're just a kid. You can't have a back pain. You're only like, you know, 5 or 6. But they can. They can. You read the studies, you Google stuff, and, you know, there's a lot of that. That's why there's pediatric, you know, doctors out there, and we also call it pediatric, you know, chiropractic. There's actually chiropractors out there that all they do is children. You know, they specialize in providing chiropractic care for kids. I do kids as well. I mean, we all do, but I don't typically just specialize in that. I do everybody. I mean, I do everything. That's why I stay busy. But I do like kids as well. And the kids are really easy to treat on my end because, like I said, I usually didn't have a problem for a very long time. You know, I see a parent sometimes, you know, and they're messed up, and, you know, somebody could be, you know, 50 years old or 60. They've never been to a chiropractor, and they have all kinds of problems, and they decided to come. And, well, that's not going to take 5 minutes to fix. I mean, that's been decades of not doing anything to prevent, you know, problems with the spine. You got to work in them a little. Where kids, they only been out there for so long, you know, they're young, and their body is fresh. They, you know, the spine wants to, you know, wants to fix itself. You know, the nervous system wants to react to all the stuff we do, and we just take away the obstruction, and then the body fixes itself. You know, that's really how it works. I mean, so, you know, it's not difficult to do. Kids do not take a lot of treatments. They, just like one adjustment can make a big difference, just one visit, but it doesn't take a lot of visits. So, you know, we do that a lot. And yeah, I sometimes have them bring the backpack. I weigh him. I tell him what percentage it is. A lot of times it's over 20%, which is ridiculous. But, you know, parents don't know these things. I feel like in this country, in the United States, we have so many, you know, good things here. We have a lot of information, but somehow we fail to educate the public on a lot of things, you know, and I don't think they make the right choices. It's not because they don't want to make the right choices. They just don't know. They just don't. And life is so busy. They don't really take the time to look this stuff on their own, you know. So you got to teach them. That's the whole purpose of me doing this video, is to kind of raise awareness of some issues so we can all be better. If we all kind of take responsibility for ourselves and we do what's right for ourselves, the country will be amazing, you know. But, you know, we got to start with ourselves, you know. We got to start with ourselves.
So, Dr. Ben, let me ask you this right quick. Now, the age, is there an age limit on when a kid can get chiropractic care? If
Zero age limit. I mean, I had people bring the babies literally after like few days of birth, and some people Google this stuff and say, you know, I read somewhere that it's good to get, you know, my newborn baby checked by a chiropractor after the birth, because, you know, I heard that first, you know, misalignment of the spine can occur with the stress of the birth. That's true. You can read about it. Just Google it. There's all kinds of studies for that. These are medical studies. So, you know, when they deliver the baby, if it's, you know, even, you know, natural birth, I mean, a lot of times they kind of pull on the baby's head, and that's what I did with both of my kids when I watched them, you know, being delivered, and they just kind of, you know, do this number, and like, I'm like, what does that do to, you know, the baby's neck? I mean, their bones are very soft. It's like cartilage. So obviously you don't treat the babies or the kids the same way as you do adults. I mean, it's very, very easy. You sometimes just tap on it. I mean, that's all you got to do. It's very, very gentle. They don't even know that you did anything. I mean, it's so easy on them, but they can feel, parents can tell you like, oh, the baby had colic, and they bring him in, and after like 1 or 2 adjustments, no more colic, or the legs are bowed like this, and I adjust them, oh, legs are straight again, and stuff like that. Parents can notice things in their child because it really bothers them, and you want the best for your child. So, those are the reasons. So, we do see anybody, any age can really be adjusted, but, a lot of times the kids at a certain age when the parent realizes maybe I should do something about it. My kid's been complaining about back pain, or he kind of cries, says, mommy, this hurts, or whatever. Initially sometimes they put it, out of the way, like, oh, well, it's really not that bad. They're only, 7, 8 years old or 10 years old. They can't be that bad. And then, okay, well, maybe there's something to it, So then take them to us, and like I said, I can just run the fingers on them. I can do my little leg checks and do my procedure, and I can see which way the pelvic is shifted or what have you. I can just put it back. It's really easy. Also, it helps with a lot of different things, like people that get, kids that have, asthma attacks, or they get like ear infections. We don't really treat any of those things. Just to be clear, we adjust the spine. That's what we do as chiropractors. So that's what I do as a chiropractor is that. But as a result of that, a lot of those things just clear up, and you can read about it. It's pretty amazing. But basically, you're just allowing the nervous system to express itself and do the healing once the obstruction is gone. So the way it works for anybody besides the age, including the children, is, your body controls itself. Your nervous system controls and coordinates the function of every living cell, organ and organ system in the body. That's actually a definition of what the nervous system does. And it's, nervous system is comprised from central nervous system, or CNS, and peripheral nervous system, or PNS. And central nervous system is here. So all of the nerve cell bodies are right here in our head, and they communicate with the rest of the body through the nerves in the spine. So think about those nerves as some sort of like electric wires, and they are conducting the signal from the computer here to everywhere else in the body. So there's information flow up and down all day long. And actually, when you read the medical stuff, and when they do all this stuff for a long time, the nerve only conducts less than 5% or something like that. Maybe I think it was like 3% is nociceptive impulse or pain. So people come to us because I'm hurting somewhere, but that's only like on the surface. The rest of the nerve doesn't do pain. The rest of the nerve conducts information where the computer here tells the organs what to do. So there's a feedback going back and forth. So it's, you don't have to think about breathing or eating or digesting food or heart, pumping. All of that happens automatically without us thinking, but the computer is doing that right here, conducting all of that through those nerves. So there's the information flow in it. So when the bone in the spine goes out of alignment, and it compresses and irritates those nerves, that information flow is interrupted. So, it's not going to be 100%. So the CNS, the central nervous system, is basically 100%, unless you have some kind of disease that affects the brain, but it sends the actual signal to what the organ is supposed to do 100%. But then, the signal has to go from here to whatever the organ is, and that might be interrupted along the way with this pressure of the, vertebrae, which is bones in the spine, out of place. So, that's the obstruction. So, you might get through at 50% or 60% or 70% or 20%. We don't really measure that, but it's not going to be 100%. So over time, those organs can malfunction. So, people have all kinds of, problems with their health because, all of those things are just malfunction. If it doesn't get a proper input from the brain what to do, things just don't function as good. And so if you keep doing it for a number of years, things get just really bad. So, all of that can be prevented by a little bit of maintenance, by a little bit of, what I call wellness care, so everything matters. Everything we do matters, food we eat, air we breathe, the stress we're under, where we live, All of this stuff matters,
It
and
does.
we tend to sometimes forget about those things or ignore it, and then over time things happen, and we're like, well, I didn't know I had it. Yeah, but maybe there was something going on that you don't even pay attention to.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of stresses, a lot of different types of stresses we have. Emotional stress, physiological stress, physical, chemical. All of those stresses. It's not just physical stress. There's all kinds of stresses that we're susceptible to every day. And the more we mitigate that, the better quality of life we will have. So,
Mhm.
that's really what it is. So, children are included in that. So this backpack we just mentioned, that would be a stressful thing to a child and their nervous system if they don't do it properly. If it's too heavy for them, that's a physical stress right there. But maybe a child is suffering emotionally from that. Maybe a child is,
Mhm.
upset that, oh man, I gotta go to school again tomorrow, and I hate going up the stairs carrying that, backpack that's weighs a ton.
Yeah.
And they might be having emotional issues, or, you know, instead of enjoying the experience of school, maybe that's kind of negating that experience for them. So
Mhm.
if a child says, I don't want to really go back to school, you got to kind of see why that is. Maybe you need to talk to your child,
Right.
and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Right.
There's more to it. There's more to it.
Mm.
But we
And that
need to
learning,
listen.
yeah, that
Yeah, we
learning
need to.
process Jackie and I talked about
Yeah,
is those three main people that are involved. That's that teacher, the parent, and the student. They
yeah,
all have a role to play in for the
yeah.
student to be successful.
Listen to your child and listen to the feedback. I mean, children are very honest. They don't really, lie at that point in life. Usually, they're too young to. Usually they're kind of innocent and stuff, and they'll tell you exactly what it is. When people are older, they start having other motives. But when you are young, they don't usually. So they would tell you like it is. So listen to them, and if somebody is complaining about something, well, you need to address that, or at least get
Right.
deeper into it and see if it's really true or whatever. But usually it is, and there's got to be a reason for it. So as a parent, you're responsible. It's not the school, it's not the teacher, it's not
Yeah,
the system, it's you.
that's
And
right.
I think we
Absolutely.
need to assume some personal responsibility in this country. Too many people just want to point the finger and say, oh, somebody else is at fault. Well,
Mhm.
it starts at home. It starts with a
There you
family
go.
structure, and you gotta be the one that's responsible. Don't look the other way. Help your child, and you can maybe develop a child that's going to become a great citizen one day, as opposed to just complaining themselves as they get older. So
Yes.
I'm just saying that's just a little deeper than just the backpack safety.
Right,
But,
you're right. We
you
was
know,
just talking about that
Right. Those are
last
great
week.
points.
We were talking about communication, having that
yeah,
conversation. Let your
yeah,
kids express their emotions and
yeah,
talk with them. Ask them how their day, who are they hanging
yeah,
with, how they're feeling. Because if you don't teach them how to communicate when they're younger, they have a problem communicating when they're
yeah,
getting older, and you don't open up that room to let them come to you and
yeah,
talk to you and open that form of communication. So you're right on point where we've
yeah.
been talking about that.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
sure is.
mean, that regard there needs more discussion. Whenever you see these horrible things on TV, like shooting, like when some kid goes to school and starts shooting around, I mean, there's a reason why they end up in that,
Right.
in that position. Like something has led to that. That wasn't just the kid that's good and loves the school or loves the classmates decides to go shooting one day. That's not the case. Something happened to this kid, and
Yeah.
there were other signs and symptoms of that kid not being happy on some level,
Mhm.
and then they just couldn't take it anymore, and they decided to, go do that, even though they're probably going to die in the process, and they decided, I don't really want to live anymore. How horrible is that? Where,
Mhm.
they're so young and they have such whole life ahead of them, and
Right.
yet they don't see that. There's something wrong. So their parents didn't listen to them, or the atmosphere it was such, or maybe the bullying you mentioned earlier. Somebody's not listening to these kids. That's just not right. I think in our country we have some deeper issues. I think the family structure might be eroding, and I think that's a problem because I'm from Serbia in Europe a long time ago. I was born there, and I live with my mom and dad, my brother and me, and my grandparents. There were six of us living under one roof for a long time. Until my grandparents passed away. And it was not like a mansion. It was a 3-bedroom condo. So there were, 1 bedroom for my parents, one for me and my brother, and one for my grandparents. We all share, 2 people per room kind of, and we didn't really think nothing of it. It was fine. And the condo had, 1.5 bathroom, it wasn't like 3 or 4 bathrooms. It was just 1.5. And you know what? We somehow survived, and I just have happy memories. I mean, I remember going to school and come back, and my grandmother cook lunch, and then I go and eat, and then go play. And my grandfather taught me how to ride a bicycle and all that. So everything in your life plays a role. My mom and dad played a role. My grandparents, my brother, all of that stuff makes you who you are later on. If you miss some of that, you miss that stuff in your life, there might be problems, nobody's listening to you. Like, if I had some kind of issue, I wasn't unhappy, somebody in my household would have found out about it. My brother or my mom and dad, my grandparents, somebody will see, hey, something's wrong with Dan, can we talk about it, see what's up, but I had a happy childhood. I was really, really happy. I enjoy having everybody around, so
That's good.
I feel great. And I see a lot of problems in our country. I don't know, maybe it's where we live here, but I see a lot of single mothers with raising kids. And so right then and there, there's a father figure missing. And do they even have, grandparents around? Do they have other people around? Do these people give enough love to this child? Is the child, raised properly or not? I mean, it shouldn't fall on just the teachers and the schools, There's got to be more at home.
Right.
And what's it like at home? And I tell you, a lot of this, single parents that I see as patients are having a hard time. Some of these people are working 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to make it happen. And I don't know if they have time for their kids. I'm sure they love their kids, but how much time do you have when you're working so much,
Yeah, the kids when the
that's the problem. So everything in our country is connected, like all these prices being so high. While I was somewhere driving, I listened to the radio, and they had this realtor from New York, and they talk about the real estate and how expensive it is and all that. And he said something really disturbing, and disturbed him as well. And he said, this is the first time in our history that the average American with the average salary, which was I think it was like 77,000 or 73,000 a year across the United States. That's the average, they could not afford, they could not qualify for the mortgage for the average price home, which is now over $400,000. So to afford, for banks to give you a mortgage to buy the average home, you cannot do it with the average salary anymore. You have to make, I don't know, over $100,000 a year for them to actually approve you. And we are backwards here. I mean, if the families can't afford a proper, living or whatever, I mean, that's just a mortgage. That's not paying it off. I mean, that's like signing a life away to keep paying for this thing for 30 years. I mean, and they won't even give it to you. That's insane. How do we get like that? Yeah. He said that's never happened.
Things have really changed, and that's why we have to be aware and stay in tune.
Yes. I don't know what the answer is, but I think it starts at home. And we need to, I was talking to my son the other day, and he was kind of having a little discussion with me about tipping at these restaurants. I feel the tipping is out of hand. Everybody wants a tip, fast food places that you didn't used to pay a tip. They just hand you the stuff, and the little thing they open up, and there's a thing you can put a tip on. I'm like, what is that tip for? In the restaurant, when you get served by a server, I feel a tip is warranted because they come to you more than once. They clean after you, they give you drinks, they do all that stuff. They serve you, where in a fast food restaurant, they just give it to you on the counter, and if you eat there, you got to bust yourself too.
They demand, and they get mad when you don't.
Sometimes they'll sneak that tip in there, but listen, Dr. Dan, we done went everywhere now.
I know.
We went on the economy and everything, but
I know. Starts with a backpack, but it goes deeper than that. Goes much deeper than the backpack.
And listen, I was studying The Root today. I went and looked at this really beautiful movie, and it was about It Ends With Us by Lily Bloom. And so it talks, and it's like she loves flowers, and she's talking about the root. The plant is only as healthy as the root. So it starts somewhere, it starts but what is it as you grow? It don't show up till later.
No, that's true.
Seeing it today, to later in life,
Mhm.
you know, you get in relationships or you get jobs or you go on with life and you wonder where these behaviors come from. They didn't
Yeah.
just appear. That
There's a
happened
root.
over time. There's a
Yeah.
root there. So we have to go back and dig up that root and see where it's at, because it's only as healthy as the root.
So, Dr. Dan, we're gonna
Yeah.
wrap this up because
I know.
We'll keep going on and on.
I know.
You brought
I'm just
up a
getting
lot of
started. I'm just getting started.
but you brought up a lot of great things, and like
Yeah.
you say, we got on the family because we was just saying that everything starts, from the family, and it really
Yeah.
does. And we know that politics and a lot of government decisions affect the families and the decisions that we can make. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we have to do the best that we can with what we have, and especially when it pertains to our children. So, Dr. Dan, just go ahead and give us your closing stuff, and we're gonna
Yeah.
wrap.
I would just say start at home. Watch your kids. Make sure to become great citizens, and the country will be that much better. As we build this, what we need to do. But watch them and listen to them, and make sure you respond to their health. If you like to, contact us, you just said at the beginning of the show. My office is in Aiken Chiropractic. See us on the internet, aikenchiropractic.com, or you can call us 803-641-9191. And all the other stuff. But I love talking to you. I like to just kind of make people
Yes.
think, and that's the whole point. We don't have that much time, but we like to make sure people start thinking about things, thinking about maybe change, thinking about doing enough. Are they doing enough? And we'll try to make a life better for everybody.
Most
That's
definitely.
it. That's it.
Thank you for your time again. We
Thank
always
you.
appreciate
Sure.
you coming on
Great
again.
I enjoy
conversation.
it.
This is Dr. Dan of Aiken Chiropractic. You can always go to www.aikenchiropractic.com and to get in touch with Dr. Dan to get an appointment and have some chiropractic care done for you, for your children. Chiropractic care is part of wellness care, so you can't go wrong with it.
All right, guys. And guys, also go ahead and like our Facebook page, Get Fit with Jackie Fitness on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Help Matters Jackie and Coaching. You also can catch us on Spotify as well. Remember, we're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. All right. So thank you guys for joining us.
All right. So listen, Dr. Dan, we'll see you later. We're going to let you go. Jackie got all in front of us. So we're going to let you go, Dr. Dan, and we'll see you next month. How about that?
Bye, everybody.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So listen, we want you to like our Facebook page at Get Fit with Jackie Fitness and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Help Matters Jackie and Coach. And Jackie's already told you to remember, we're here to help you become a better you, to be the best you that you can be.
And remember, guys, we're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. We just repeating all this, guys. We like to leave you with 3 John 2. Beloved, wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Remember, guys, have a healthy and blessed day.
We love you.
Love you.
Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Yeah, let's go.
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, behavior, that's a lifelong dream goal.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become a better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.